welcome to another episode of Love Island the Morning After, the only official Love Island podcast. My name is Amy Hart.
And I'm Indiyah Polack. And for the final time this week, please welcome Joe back.
Hey, y'all. Morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Oh, it's my last day.
Oh,
I'm
been a
sad.
good week.
It's been an amazing week to be doing this.
What a week to have it.
What a night it was last night. I'm frazzled still.
The snacks, by the way, I'm still full from last night, guys. We had a full-on feast yesterday.
We had a big...
Picky bits for tea.
But look, we have so much to get through.
We have a lot of gossip.
We do.
Before the drama of movie night, there was something that had to be sorted out, and that was Meg and Dejon. So obviously the night before last, we saw them have the closed-off proposal.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well. So it was time to right that wrong, if that's the kind of thing you believe in, and for Meg and Dejon to finally become closed off. Do we think this is it for them? Do we think they're exclusive now and his head will not be turned again?
I feel like it's just gone on too long. We've now had movie night, so Dejon has no choice but to shut it down and just stop flirting, you know?
It's gone on so long, though, it kind of low-key doesn't mean anything anymore,
Yeah.
in my mind.
I think he should have asked her to be his girlfriend.
I agree with that. And I also think to make all that fuss with Connor, can you go grab her all this? Not even a pancake, a waffle, not even a flower,
No
a
fruit.
rose.
I was like,
no
oh, here we
fruit.
go. A classic Love Island set up on the terrace.
Yeah.
Not even a heart with some whipped cream. Like, come on. I thought it was pretty poor from my
It was
side.
a little low budget, and I feel like he could have literally asked Meg up there and she would have went. We didn't need Connor to do the little, bring her up to the terrace.
think
But no juice.
You've put her through so much.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have even handed her a coffee when
Yeah, it
you
was a
asked
little-
her.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I'm not
No.
buying it.
I do think it should have been boyfriend and girlfriend at this point.
Agreed.
They've had so many tests. It's been exam season, all season
She's
for them.
doing her SATs.
She's doing her GCSEs. But it should have been boyfriend and girlfriend. And I know the haters will say it's too early. They've only known each other 4 weeks. If you spend, and I've said it before and I'll say it again and I will die on this hill, that amount of time together, like in concentrated time, sharing a bed together, someone would be...
Breathing down each other's necks.
Someone would be your girlfriend or your boyfriend after that amount of time on the
Yes.
outside. So they should have been
Yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend, and I think
Oh, babe,
it is
I've closed it
a
off for
poor
guys
show.
quicker than that.
Yeah, no.
I don't think that's happened because I don't think Dejon wants it to happen. Dejon, if he wanted it to happen, he would have cuffed her ages
Oh, yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's why it's gotten to this point because Meg has gotten to her final straw. He's seen that, he's pushed her and pushed her and pushed her, and he knows that if he does it anymore, she will literally leave. So I think he's literally exhausted all his options. He's flirted as much as he could get away with, and now it's like, okay, I gotta be exclusive because I don't think he wants to be her boyfriend at this point.
I mean,
think he
look,
does.
I'm happy for
We
them.
finally got a couple. Guys, it's the end of week 5 and we finally got a couple. Congratulations.
And the
to all
bar
of
is
us.
on the floor at this
It
point.
is. Obviously, normally when people have this conversation, it's like, yeah, I don't want to get to know anyone else, nor do I. Oh my God, so does this mean we're exclusive then? Yeah, it does. Will you go exclusive with me? Like, literally, I felt like your brother in one of your TikToks. Will you go exclusive with me? Like,
It did. It was giving George Baggs energy. Yeah, no, I agree. It was very strange language used.
I mean, Meg seemed really happy about it. We did say she also brought the girls over and told all of them about the big news.
and they were
It
not
wasn't-
impressed.
I don't think it was giving what she had hoped that situation would give. There wasn't really a cheer. Everyone was like, oh!
And yeah, she told them and everyone's like, well done.
Do you know what? I
Hilarious.
think it's because everybody has witnessed Dejon's behaviour and it's just sort of like we've seen this happen time and time again and we actually expected maybe they just wanted a bit more for their Meg.
And it wasn't
Nothing
like
wrong with
romantic.
that.
A lot of the time coming back being like, oh my God, you never guess what happened. Literally the day before, they've seen them arguing over Andrada and him.
And
Like,
basically
yeah.
Meg forced him. He said,
Yeah,
you don't cut this
yeah.
off
So
now.
everyone's like, oh, that's romantic.
Again, the bar's on the floor.
Bars on the floor.
The bar's on the floor.
Meg.
And not mug.
Yeah.
All right?
Bombshell entrances, shocking twists, and stunning pre-love fashion. Could the villa get any better? Let's dive into all the Love Island fits with eBay. It was a heart-racing start to the week with Harry making tough decisions between Shakira and Helena. Thankfully, he kept his cool in a pre-love pattern shirt worn previously by Series 11's Omar. Helena followed suit with a spin on the Georgia varsity jacket worn by Villa bestie Emily during eBay's Preppy Americana party. Just goes to show a great statement pre-love piece slays every time. And after setting things straight with Harrison earlier in the week, birthday girl Toni got the greatest gift, turning heads in the gorgeous metallic Bronx and Banco dress last seen on All-Star 2's Grace and rekindling their fiery romance once again. That's the power of pre-loved. So if you're looking to turn heads this season, meet the one in Pre-Loved and eBay, sponsors of Love Island.
Right, let's get on to the nitty-gritty, which was movie night.
Yeah.
So kicking it off, we had Harry when he met Shakira, Helena and Rio.
Yes.
We saw a fair few clips of, Harry doing his do. We saw him kissing in bed with Rio. We saw Harrison talking about, well, how the hell did you get away with that? It was a lot going on.
That was such a strong start to
Yes.
the clips. I was genuinely screaming at the TV. And I think I speak for the whole nation when we say that we just wanted to see this come to light because he has been moving so mad in that villa. And I think it was just nice for everyone in the villa to see what we have seen. However, how is this man still not rattled? I have so much like cortisol in my bloodstream right now from watching.
It's not good for the system.
I'm just like, how is no one buying this? Or you know what I mean? They're just like, cool.
That end bit with them talking about Meg and Dejon, that should have been its own film. Because that clip of Harrison and Harry, when he was like, how are you still getting away with this? He's like, I'll get away with everything, didn't I? Like, we've been waiting for that for one whole day. To be a movie night. We have been saying for the whole day. And then it was in there. And then because of that last clip of them talking about Meg and Dejon, and are they game playing? Do they even like each other? It got skirted over. Everyone had forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it didn't get the beef that it deserved.
And I think, again, Helena was our nonchalant, unbothered queen. And
She was
smiling. And I thought, baby, why are we smiling through this disrespect? It was scaring me.
It was a lot. I mean, however, our good sis Shakira, she did bring it up.
She
and
did.
she's like, wait, Dejon, don't make this about you. Helena, how do you feel about seeing that?
Yeah.
However, what I've gathered from Helena, I don't know her personally, but I do feel like she's not a confrontational girl.
Yeah.
And it is very apparent that when these situations are happening, it's very awkward for her and she doesn't know what to say. I think she is very aware of how Harry is treating her. I think she's aware that she does, look a bit silly at times and he can be quite embarrassing. But I genuinely think she does not know how to handle it.
I totally agree. And last night, it really put it in black and white. Like, that was so confronting for her to watch that there's no way to skirt around this now with the Harry situation. I think she just has to address it for herself. I could see, I don't know if you guys noticed, but her face really changed midway through.
But she still smiles.
She was smiling, but she then started to notice. And I think you could see her being like, oh my God, this is actually happening.
In that moment, she's probably thinking, well, what am I supposed to do? Dump him around movie
Exactly.
night?
But guys, those clips from Harry, they were not good.
And then we had even more clips from Harry when we had the Helena games as well. And it was him saying, I only do it to her because she lets me get away with it. I wouldn't do it to you, to Shakira.
Yeah.
And this getting away with it thing is mad. Do we think he's going to continue to get away with it? We saw a little preview for Sunday night's episode last night.
You know what? As horrible as it is, I feel like if Helena doesn't either bin him off or put him in his place, but at this point, there's no point putting him in his place because he's done so much already.
Yeah.
I do think he will continue to do it. And just like, Toni was saying to Meg, Dejon and Harry, they don't do these things in front of you. They wait till your back's turned. They wait till you're on a date. They wait till you're in Casa to do these things. And it's like, if it's not the things like movie night, Helena will never know.
No.
And I think that was the turning point for Helena, that conversation, because I think that his actions have been disrespectful, but I think those words really hit different. He actively said, I do this because, I just walk all over essentially. And I think that was the moment where she was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Seeing you crack on or kiss or pull dates, whatever. But to actually say that, she thought, oh, there's no coming back from that.
I think for the longest time, Helena has convinced herself that her and Harry are very similar.
Yeah.
But that's under the impression that, he doesn't mean any harm.
Yeah,
so to hear somebody admit that they know that they are hurting your feelings and they're just, going happy about it, I think that's what's hurtful. And that's just sort of like,
Totally.
maybe you're not the kind of person I thought you were.
Interesting as well, while we're talking about them later on, right at the end of the episode, Meg and Helena had their little whispered conversation. This is the subtitles, if anyone wanted to know. And she was saying, this is what we've been telling you since the get-go. That he does it and you let him get away with it. So hopefully she'll listen.
As I said earlier this week, it only takes for you to realise, isn't it, in these situations, and then you think, okay, I actually need to listen to myself now.
Sometimes you do need your friends to tell you, or you need to see it for yourself to be like, oh, actually, maybe this is wrong.
On to Toni and Harrison. They had a movie each. So Toni had She's All Toni, and it was like a montage of her being iconic, and everyone's like, I love this, it's amazing.
That was a show reel.
I mean, it was a show reel.
That was a show
She
reel.
can just ask for that and just chop the end bit off.
Someone needs to make that into a fan edit and then put the shakes on it and the music and
Funny,
stuff.
I've already
Because
seen one.
Everything.
I've already seen
It
one.
was absolutely fab.
Phenomenal.
She is the queen of the one-liner, and
Yes.
we love her for it. But then at the the end, it was her, like, the mask slipped, her big persona was gone. It was her crying on the terrace about Harrison.
Oh, that was rough.
Even we were watching it like this.
Yeah.
Like, it was awful.
I think the reason why as well, wasn't it, is because we wanted that clip to really just show her as the, you know, the bad girl that she
it was
is.
a secret also.
Nothing's a secret.
Like, it was a secret.
I know, and it didn't really portray actually how she feels, I don't think. She was just having a bit of a weak moment.
Very out of context, wasn't it?
Yeah, out of context, out of
Yeah.
character. And I just feel like sometimes we want to have a little cry to our girls, but you know, the Love Island gods like
Exactly.
on everything.
Baddies cry too, and she
Baddies
was
cry too.
allowed to
Yeah.
cry. But I
Yeah.
think Harrison really lapped that up, and I felt awkward for Cash as well.
Yeah.
I think Harrison and Cash showed how polar opposite they are. Harrison was like, oh yeah, I didn't expect it from you. If you were going to recouple right now,
Like-
who would you recouple with? And she said, get the F out of my
Like,
face,
time
Harrison.
and place, babe.
Whereas Cash was like, obviously we've only had 3 days together. We've got a good connection. She's obviously not going to be able to switch her feelings off. I'm not going to come at her for being like emotional
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
man speaks
What
sense.
a guy.
The man
Yeah.
speaks sense. He's mature.
Yeah.
He knows that this is a real life connections with real life people, and you
Yeah.
can't just switch them off like that. Whereas Harrison sat there licking his lips.
Young Bull in the building.
Young
Bull,
Bull.
aka Harrison. Yeah, he was exposed for a lot of things. And being that, how he spoke to Helena in his past couple of days. I feel like he's come back from Casa Amor. He's been coupled up with Lauren, having a good time. You know, he's been trying to crack on with Toni again and acting like he's being sweet and, you know. Yeah.
Harrison likes to have a backup plan, is what
Oh,
I've
yeah,
noticed.
yeah.
And he always likes to have one just sizzling away. And I think that he's been so full on with Lauren, he's really lost Toni with this recoupling, and therefore he's so on edge, and that's why all this stuff's coming out.
Yeah.
And when we saw that conversation between him and Toni, he was like, do you miss me? You know, do you think I look good and all that? It's wild. He's just trying to get back.
I mean, when Lauren was like, I don't like the way you said, do you miss me? Do you need to say that? Do you need to say that? Why is nobody talking at the bathroom? Why is
Yeah.
nobody bringing that up?
Even Toni said to Shakira, like, you know, he was talking to me in the bathroom. He had his hands on my waist,
Yeah.
like saying all these things. And she's like, don't do that. You know, it's like you're trying to get over an ex and they're still texting you, or they're still being nice and they're making it very hard for you to get over them. I mean, she's living with him. So all these little, you know, thanks little touches and do you miss me? It's hard.
Why is nobody saying this? Like, Toni, come on. And when she says, I owe you nothing, you owe me nothing. I'm like, no, owe them something.
That was frustrating, but I do understand that, like, Harrison needs to stop hiding behind his words like a lot of the guys are, and
yes.
actually just vocalise what's happened.
I feel like with everything that happened, I feel like up until movie night, Toni has been very confused a little bit. Like she's been battling with herself whether she still really likes Harrison or if she needs a bit of closure to get over it. But I feel like the clips that she saw, what really stood out for me, it was like when she saw the way Harrison was flirting with other girls and she said to him, why did you not just leave it when I left you? And I feel like that spoke volumes because it's sort of like, what is your game plan here?
She
Because
ate him
you
up with
had
that.
every opportunity to get back with me. You're saying
Yeah.
all these things now, but everything that movie night is showing is the complete opposite.
Why are you going into Casa Amor and saying, oh, I didn't really find it that attractive, you know, it's 7 out of 10. Yeah, we had a good couple of days, all of this. When she shut it down with you and
Yeah.
you ran back, Toni is so well within her right to be frustrated.
Yeah.
And also, if you're trying to get over an ex and you're looking up in your bathroom mirror and they're behind you, imagine that at home. Imagine
scare.
you look up and it's like a horror movie and that's what he was doing. He was like haunting her behind. I'm like,
Yeah.
let the woman breathe,
Let
you
her
know?
mourn, you know?
Let her mourn the loss of this relationship.
On that note as well, hilarious earlier on in the episode when Ben came in to apologise to Toni and she wasn't really having any of it. And they had that photo of him, Connor and Toni. And then he had her in the
bathroom
headlock and
selfie.
they're all doing this. She had her middle finger up.
That poor girl can't catch a break. She's supposed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
She's getting apologies from Ben. Harrison just stood there tapping on her waist. She's sick of it.
It was the whole sort of back to reality members like, we don't know when our last day will be, so let's just make up. It's like, okay.
It's like, I want to ask Harrison all these questions about, you know, why didn't you just leave it? If you weren't that interested, if there was no sexual connection there, etc., why didn't you just leave it? The question is, if they do get back together, are we going to have to forgive him?
No.
We can forgive, but we don't forget.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Next up, it was the turn of Meg and Dejon to get their movies. We had good Dejon hunting, the Meg, and then also let's talk about Free Billy Kiss as well,
Let's
because
do,
I
let's
feel
do.
like that basically was about them as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So good Dejon hunting was a lovely montage of Dejon telling all the girls he's open and having a lovely, lovely flirt with them.
Yes.
Calling Andrada baby girl, which Meg was the most annoyed about.
Yeah.
Do you think that was because that was sort of the most recent information?
Do you know what I think it is? I feel like Meg has made her love languages very clear. And I feel like by the looks of it, words of affirmation is a very big thing for her. Even when it comes down to the My Meg, they've clearly had a conversation where Dejon at some point is like, I don't really say these things to girls that, I'm not really deep or serious with. Baby girl being one of them.
Yeah.
So her hearing that was probably a bit of a trigger. And it's just sort of like, well, why are you calling other girls these cute little nicknames when you said that was between me and you?
Thing is he said, it's part of my language, it's part of what I say. They've been in the villa for 5 weeks now. He's like best friends with like Helena, he gets with some of the other girls and stuff. Do you think he's ever called them baby girl?
No, we haven't heard it. And I mean, it doesn't look good paired with a mirror shot of we look good together, does it? And it was not a good night for Dejon, let me tell you that now.
But he didn't seem to care. Dejon deflects everything, blames everyone else, and then when all else has failed, he goes, I'm bored now.
Don't talk about it anymore.
Let's just end this now.
I would find it so frustrating.
It was a hard watch. And do you know what? Just one thing that I'm really glad that came up, by the way, that whole Free Billy Kiss situation, when we had to watch through frustration him saying, I don't want to get to know you inside or outside the villa. And then we grabbed him by the shirt. We literally had it in 4K. Him saying, I think you're really attractive. I do want to get to know you. And it's like the absolute information was there and he still had nothing to say.
But this is what stresses me about Meg. I'm like, Meg, you're seeing this now.
She did see it, and she did actually say to Billy, look, I get where you're coming from now. I feel like apology was kind of warranted.
The gap was there for the sorry, and it never came.
There weren't many apologies
last
night.
Shakira did apologise.
Yes.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah. And Helena, actually.
Yeah, Helena did as well.
I'm glad, though, that this was cleared up with Billy Kiss because I did think it was really unfair the way Dejon made her feel. And I can imagine that in some ways might eat up at you in the villa because you think that was really unfair. I didn't get to say my piece.
It's easy for like the main villa girls to just not believe what she's saying.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? She's only been there like a few weeks or whatever. So I'm glad that she got, her justice.
Free Billy Kiss.
The other person that I'm glad got their justice, Toni was avenged tonight for the breathing down my neck comment.
Yes.
And I think Meg did actually say, actually, Toni, you were right with that. Because she obviously said it in the quotes challenge and it all kicked off and everyone was really horrible to her and said that she was out of order and she was jealous. And then it turns out when he went to Caprice, he did also say, basically repeating parrot fashion what he'd said before. Without Meg breathing down my neck.
And then Meg did say, well, I don't do that. However, I think we saw then other clips whereby Meg was hanging around the doors, going into conversations. And I was kind of like, I don't know what definitions of breathing down necks are in this villa.
Yeah, we don't mean it literally.
Yeah, but I think that it was happening.
We'll talk about Shakira's one later, but Meg had been quite vocal about that's really mean. I can't believe you've just said that. Shakira, that's really horrible. You shouldn't say things like that. Cut to 30 seconds later and Meg's like, that's it, walk down your catwalk. And to be fair, someone's saying to me, walk down your catwalk, it is a bit of a catwalk. They are strutting off, whatever. Yeah. But then when she went into, I'm not going to tell you walk weird, am I? And they're so you're saying that I walk weird?
Because also, before Meg actually confessed to that, I didn't even think that's what she meant.
No.
I thought it was kind of just sort of walk away, you've got a long walk to go, go ahead and do it. And then she added in, I was saying that you walked weird. I was like, well, I didn't know that. Well,
and didn't she say, you all like idiots? And then Toni was like, so you think we're idiots now? Look, everyone talks about everyone. Yeah. And you are never going to like everyone. And it's like work, it's like school. You're going to be surrounded by people that you don't see eye to eye, but you just get on with it.
Yeah.
The thing with Shakira is she stood on what happened in her movie and she said something along the lines of, it was nasty, but I intended it to be nasty.
Yeah.
Woo! I mean, come on. The thing with Meg was she could have said, I also said that and I intended that to be mean, but let's all kind of kiss and make up. But it wasn't. It was almost like a PR thing of everyone being like, no, I'm nice. No, I'm nice. Yeah. And it was a lot. And that argument at the end between Meg and Shakira was very heated, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. They were all fighting at the end. And I think one of the boys said to Dejon, should we break this up? And he said, no.
He said no.
Because then they'll come for us.
Yeah.
All the time they're fighting, they're not thinking about us.
And then waited for the fight to run its course. And then he was like, don't do this to Meg.
You had so much time to actually butt in and be like, hey guys, let's stop this.
If that was my man and Helena was silent and all the girls were saying that to Meg, regardless of who is wrong, I would have expected him in the first 10 seconds to go, I think you will need to just lower your tone a little bit and speak to each other. The fact that he just sat there sipping his white wine as quoted in this episode, I thought it was bad. And if I was Meg, I would have been raging at that.
But it was really interesting how there's this massive fight going on and Helena is sat there, not moving, nothing. She didn't say anything.
But this backs up both of your point earlier about her not liking confrontation.
Yeah, I think she's very awkward when it comes to confrontation. I don't think she enjoys it. And I think, not that she's not aware of her actions, I feel like Helena does stuff just because she wants to. And I feel like she knows that there's going to be backlash from it, but I don't know what kind of person she is, but she doesn't know how to deal with it after.
I think it's purely that some people are just not built for confrontation.
Yeah, she's
and
not.
I think, as you said, she can be who she is, but in those situations, she looked terrified.
I'm not here.
She was watching Free Billy.
Yeah, she literally was just like, she took herself out of the situation.
Oh, totally.
Another argument that came was from Shakablanca, which was Shakira's movie. Now, this was a supercut of her slagging off the others, basically. Which, in a supercut, like, yes, it looks bad. But if, like us, you've watched the episodes start to finish since day one, you'll know that she had real feelings that were really hurt. And this was just reactions to other people's actions.
Yeah, they were all contextually driven by Helena and her behaviour or others. And so I agree with you. It's like if someone clipped up all of my worst moments from the last year, I'm obviously going to look like the worst person alive. But they're all due to things happening around us.
Yeah.
So I agree. If you're putting her in a situation with a love triangle constantly, of course she's going to say those things.
And the thing is, so much stuff happens in there that the others aren't going to really, especially the ones who are maybe on the Helena side of the villa, they're not going to choose to remember any of that behaviour. They're just going to be like, and we saw Shakira in that video saying this and saying that, and she's out of order. I just think she's been done really dirty with that video.
And I like the way Shakira said to Meg, how would you like it if someone, borrowed your bikini and then went and got with Dejon? She would be first to blow the roof off that
she
villa.
absolutely would
So
be.
why is it not okay for Shakira to have that opinion as well?
And Meg tried to say, no, I wouldn't. So you've never been in that situation.
But we've also seen how Meg behaved when Melisha was in the villa.
Look at how he went 3, 2, 1.
And it was literally 30 seconds later when we had the Meg. You know, like on Sundays when Maya's like, here are your best bits.
Yes.
It was just like if Maya said, here are your worst bits.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
And I think both of their movie nights cancelled each other out.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think everyone's gone back to a level playing field personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the end of movie night, but we saw the preview for Sunday night's episode.
We did.
I'm so excited. So the fallout. So what are our predictions? Do we think the girls will make up? Do we think Harrison and Toni might end up back together? Helena and Harry is at the end. Meg and Dejon? I don't even know.
I think Meg and Dejon are up for a rough week. I think that Ben and Andrada are fully done.
Great news for Alima.
Great.
Great news for you.
The person that's come off the best
Great
out of this
news.
whole situation is Alima.
Well done, Alima. And I do think there is hope for Toni and Harrison. I just don't know when and how. And I know your face is saying you don't even want it, but there is an undeniable connection there.
Don't start that again.
I actually really want Toni to stay with Cash, but I feel like it boils down to she hasn't known him long enough, and she did have a really strong connection with Harrison. And I feel like now that he's trying to worm his way back in and they're both coupled up, when both of you are doing the same thing and you're still low-key gravitating towards each other, it kind of makes you feel like, should we just work through this? But also, like...
The thing is, guys, Cash is so lovely.
He's
and
so
he
lovely.
ticks every box
Yeah.
in terms of just like, a really nice, respectable guy. Yeah. Sometimes we don't want those guys. And I don't know whether maybe, as much as Cash is lovely, Tony's like, he's not giving me that thrill.
No, but I don't think Cash is too much of a nice guy to the point where it will give Toni the ick. I feel like he can give her that sort of like grit that she's looking for. I think it's simply just the comfortability that she is with Harrison. She's known him for long. She still has feelings. And then she's thinking, is this a test for us? When sometimes it isn't a test and you do actually need to move on. But it is hard. Like, she has known him longer and you can see that she still does have a bit of feelings for him.
I think one of the other issues is that Cash is so mature. He's very like, look, I'm not going to have a go at you for being emotional. You had a great connection. You can't turn those feelings off. So I feel like he won't graft for Toni and be like, come on, I'm the better option. Come on.
He won't graft for her, but I do think if she starts now giving more attention to the Harrison situation, I do think it will put him off because I do think he knows his worth.
This is the thing. He does know his worth. And we saw that in Casa. Even the way he was speaking to her is very much like, I'm not a mug.
Yeah, he's giving her grace right now.
But this is the thing. So then when we're talking about predictions, I really don't know how this will work out if she does start devoting more time to Harrison.
Finally, prediction. This could be, wishful thinking, but I do feel like maybe Helena might see the light once and for all. I know it might be a hard situation for her because from what I've watched, she's not a very confrontational girl, but maybe this will open her eyes about the whole Harry situation. She might decide to just sort of put it to bed.
There might be that, or maybe in another universe, there might be a point where he understands the severity of what, you know, she's seen, and they might have a good couple of weeks so they really do connect, have some nice dates and really do close things off. And he actually says, this is no longer a lad's holiday and I am going to come in here with the view of finding love. And
But the thing is, I don't think that will happen unless Helena gives him a grilling. Because Harry doesn't do things unless he's told.
Yeah, I think that it will have to be a situation again where she backs off and has him come forward again.
Can we not manifest another love triangle?
Let's go to the Emma school of how to be in a relationship. And Emma can sit there with her teaching uniform and be like, right, Helena, this is how we do things here.
Well, that is all we've got time for today. Thank you, Joe, for joining us all week. What a week it's been.
I've had such a good week with you guys. Thank you for having me. And thank you everyone at home for being so lovely. And I'll see you all soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you get
On
to
After
take your
Sun.
Oh my God, and you get to take your water bottle home.
And I finally get one. I'd like to thank my mum, my dad. No, thank you guys.
And we'll be back next week. And don't forget, you can catch Amy and I this Sunday on After Sun. We'll see you then.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.